We need to move along because in the studio we have Aderonke Ademosu. Now she's a young Nigerian lady who, against all odds, is still standing, having had to travel to 3 continents for correctional surgeries for severe burns sustained in a gas explosion. She attempted suicide 3 times and totally gave up on life.
But in spite of all these, hers is a story of survival and living against all odds. And we are super excited to welcome her to the show this morning.
Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome, Aderonke. It's good to see you. You look nice and well and ready for action.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
Okay. So now from what we just heard, you know, there must be a very powerful story. And with powerful stories like yours, I always find it better if you take an angle and tell us exactly what happened from the beginning.
Okay, I moved back from England after being away for 14 years.
Oh, wow.
And barely 6 months of me moving back to Nigeria, I had my accident. And on that evening, I went into the kitchen. I was going to make rice. I smelt the gas. The gas was on. Someone had left it on by mistake. I smelt it and I turned it off. But I turned it back on immediately, something I shouldn't have done. I should have opened up the windows and, you know, aired the room. Okay. And it just exploded, literally. 3 seconds just changed my life, literally.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so it was just a normal day. You came to just cook rice, you put on the gas. Oh, you turned it off when you smelt it?
Yes, it was on. I turned it off.
Immediately you put it back on?
Yes.
Okay.
So after the explosion, what happened right after that?
I was taken to Lasut Bagada, and I must commend the guys at Lasut. They did a fantastic job. Okay. Everyone there, from the cleaners to the front desk to the nurses, they are fantastic. I mean, they saved my life. They applied the first aid and got me to a stable condition for me to then further my treatment. They even did my skin graft, and when I got to England, they asked me, where did you get it done? I said Nigeria. They were very shocked. They're like, wow, that they did a very good job.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm really proud.
Fantastic. Now, you say the word skin graft like it's an easy process.
Oh, no.
So, not to, you know, make anybody sad or anything, but what is the process of skin grafting from the first stage to skin grafting? What exactly did they do for you?
So for you to get skin grafts, that means I was burnt. I had 3rd degree burns. That was the reason why I had to undergo skin graft. So they get the skin, well, in my case, they got my skin from my thighs. Okay. And then they just put it on your skin, and hopefully your body will take it. For places, as you can see here, my body didn't take this area. So
okay, it didn't take that area.
Yeah, it didn't take that area. So they just left that bit. Okay. Right. But the other areas they took. So they just put it on there, and then they use the surgical stapler to staple the skin in and just leave it to heal, and hopefully your skin takes it.
So why did you have to travel to 3 countries for correctional surgeries?
Because I had keloid. Okay. And I had an excision here in Nigeria. It grew back. Then I had to go to England. And when I got to England, I had another excision, and I was on steroid, and it grew back again. Okay. And after that, I had to go private in England. I had another excision, and then they suggested I have radiotherapy. Okay. But they did explain to me that the side effect of that is cancer. So I had to, it was like a catch-22. I had to pick one. So I didn't go for the radiotherapy. Then I went to the US and had another excision, and it grew back again. So for those
that don't know what an excision is, you know, could you explain a bit about that?
So what they do is they cut off your keloid, and they inject steroid in it, and then you get steroid injection subsequently after that. Okay. I was on steroid for about 2 years.
Wow, wow. Okay, so throughout this process, I know you couldn't have been alone through all this. So who was standing by you?
I had a strong support system of families and friends, definitely. My mom, obviously, she was my biggest supporter. My friends, my auntie. My mom didn't travel with me to England, but she would call me every day to tell me how beautiful I am. My friends didn't treat me any different to the way they treated me when I didn't have my my accident. My family, they would always send me messages, check up on me, and sometimes even attend some of my sessions. Even when I was seeing the psychologist after attempting suicide here in Nigeria, they would, when I went to England, they would come to some of my sessions. That's my siblings in England. They would come to some of my sessions.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about the process. I mean, you had this long process of taking steroids and going through surgeries.
Yes.
And that obviously took a toll on you mentally, apart from the physical toll that it took. And you were talking about the first time you attempted suicide. Can you tell us what was going on in your mind at the time? Considering everything that you were going through mentally and also physically?
I was so scarred, and I was so depressed. I was at the lowest point in my life, and I suppose I felt like my own beautiful truth would show and manifest through my skin, and people would see that I was just clinging on to life by a shredding thread, and I didn't want people to see that. I was so depressed that I didn't see the point of existing. But it's quite funny because looking back retrospectively, that's just so wrong. I shouldn't let anyone make me feel less better of myself, because now when I see scars, when I see people that have gone through any traumatic experience, I see someone that is powerful, someone that is strong enough to tell their story, someone that's been through the valley of the shadow of death, and they came out on the winning side, and that's a testament of their inner strength. And it just shows how amazing the human mind and body is, and how sometimes we feel like we can't overcome things or any obstacle that that we're faced, but we just need to seek for that inner strength, and that would guide us through it all.
Okay, so I have a question. Now, you mentioned, it's been mentioned that it happened 3 times. You attempted it 3 times.
Yes.
So between the first time and the second time, did you start any psychological treatment? Did you have a psychiatrist or a psychologist with you that was helping you through it, or was it after the second or third time that you decided to go for that?
When you first get out of the hospital, when you're at the hospital, everyone is in the same boat in the burns unit, so you don't really see the magnitude, of what you're going through until you get out. And Nigerians, they like to throw you pity parties. Oh, what is wrong? Are you okay? And I did not like that. And even when I go out and people just stare at me, because the doctors advised me to go out to get sunlight just so that I can, get my melanin back and all. And people would just be staring at me, and I just did not like that. I just felt ostracized, like I didn't feel among, and I just got fed up. And it's very painful as well, because then my hand was still healing. I had the keloids. It's very, very painful. When I was in Nigeria, I didn't see any psychologist. I didn't undergo any psychological treatment, no. I think at the hospital, they thought I was running mad, and they got a psychiatrist to come down, but my mom had to stop them. That no, there's nothing wrong with her. She's just going through a process,
Okay, all right. So now, was there anything different between the first time and the second time? Was it just the same aspects of depression and people watching you the second time as well? Yes,
I was just depressed, and I was just tired. I was tired of the old treatment. It was number one, it was very expensive, and it wasn't even the financial aspect of it. It was just draining. I felt like my life was stagnant. I initially moved back to Nigeria to start my business and to just get on with life, and I just felt like my life was just at a standstill, and I was just really upset, and I was just thinking, why did I go into that kitchen? I was blaming myself, and I was just fed up with everything. So I was really at a very low point in my life.
Yeah, so let's talk about when things changed, like the turning point. So this had occurred 3 times, and at some point you must have decided, you know what, I want to live, I want to experience life, I want to continue and come out of this situation. So what exactly happened that change things around for you?
When I went to England for treatment, for further treatment, I was seeing a psychologist, and she would explain to me that it's not the end of the world. You know, I shouldn't just write myself off. And apart from that, I had an epiphany when I was in England that, you know what, the worst that could have happened has happened. I could have died. I shouldn't be ungrateful. You know, this kind of incident has killed a lot of people. I could have died, but I came out alive. So I should be hopeful, you know, and just remain, you know, strong and positive. And I thought to myself, if I try to attempt suicide, my mom's quite old, she's in her 70s. I'm just gonna kill that woman, and she doesn't deserve it. So I need to consider the people around me as well. And this world is a beautiful place to be with. In spite of all of the negativity, all of the tragedies, it's a beautiful place to be with. And I owe myself that responsibility to live the best life I can possibly live. I mean, you only live once, and they say if you do it right, once is enough. So I just had to be strong for myself.
All right. So just to round off, if you could tell yourself something back then, what would you tell yourself?
You should have worn your scar like it's golden.
Wow.
It's you know, it shows how strong you are. It shows you have lived. It shows that you have depth, you know, and you should never let anyone put you down, you know, because you're a queen and you should be ready to conquer the world.
Oh, wow.
Oh, beautiful.
And
beautiful.
I mean, there's a lot of things going on with you right now. You started your business finally.
Yes.
And can you tell us a little bit about that?
So Bubbleville Integrated Services, we're into press juice, parfaits and smoothies.
Okay.
We have 3 locations at the moment: Law School, Maryland Mall, and Grand
Wow.
Square.
Amazing. And you're employing people now. You've got like 20 staff and things like that. Amazing.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Amazing.
Beautiful.
Your story, I'm sure, is inspiring a lot of people.
I hope so.
Not just people who have suffered, you know, severe burns like you did, but probably going through all sorts of things, probably their own kind of depression or whatever it is, and they're watching it this morning and they're just getting inspired and strengthened. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be talking some more during this performance. We have